Alright, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit of the new features that are regarding the home screen in iOS 18. So as we all know, iOS 18 came out in beta form this past Monday, and I've been playing around with it for the last week or so, kind of checking some things out. But in this particular video, I'm going to be going over the home screen in itself. So in iOS 18, the home screen actually gets quite a big upgrade. So as we can already tell straight away, the icons here do not look like they normally do. And that is because Apple has actually given us the ability to essentially theme the icons more or less. It's a little bit of a watered down version of theming because all it does is really change the color of the icons. You can't actually change the actual icon itself, such as the icon within the icon. For example, say the Photos app, you can't change that colorful section in the middle. All it does is change the color surrounding that. Anyway, so to start off with this particular color changing aspect of the home screen, you access that by holding down and going into edit mode as you normally would on the home screen. And at the very top of the screen, in this case, you can see on the top right there is an edit button. And when you click that, you get two options. You can add a widget or customize the home screen. And in this case, we're going to customize. And when you click that, you're going to get this little window here that opens and gives you several options for changing basically the icon color. So you can have light or dark mode, and essentially what that's going to do is change the look of the icon to basically correspond to dark mode or light mode, whichever you have activated at a current point in time. And you can have that set as automatic. So you can hit automatic and it'll change to dark or light mode depending on what setting you have. So if I go into Control Center here, turn off dark mode, you can see straight away all of the icons now go back to the normal color as they have always been in previous versions of iOS. But if I go back in and turn on dark mode, you can see immediately the icons now take on this bit of a dark effect with kind of a black background behind the front layer of the icon. Go back into edit again. This dark mode color actually is kind of my preferred look. I kind of just leave it on all the time, even if I'm not in dark mode. But if you want to do that, you just hit the icon here called dark. And what that does is it lets you keep the dark icons even if the system itself is set to light mode. If you want to keep the icons light colored, even though the system is, say, in dark mode, you can hit that and keep the icons always light and never go into dark mode if that is what you prefer. And then we have tinted, which this is the thing that I never actually thought Apple would ever introduce within iOS. And basically what it is it's the ability to change the icon color effectively to essentially whatever you want. So when I click that, it's now changed every icon to kind of a light blue color. But say, for example, you want to change it to a neon green. You can slide this little slider right over here. Move the bottom slider, and now we have neon green icons on our home screen. Now, the problem with this is not all icons look good having this color tint placed over top. It can kind of look a little bit ridiculous. So for example, some third-party apps that haven't been updated, and even some first-party apps designed by Apple don't even look good, at least in this particular beta. As you can see, the Apple Store icon right here does not look good with a green tint over it with a white background still. Outlook does not look good. The Apple Support app looks terrible. Things like that. But for other apps, for some reason, say third-party apps by Synology here, these apps, for whatever reason, keep the dark background. That does not change, but the icon within that actually changes color. It kind of looks good. So I'm not entirely sure what the deal is with that. That's obviously a problem, I would assume, with the software being in beta. So this kind of weird color discrepancy I would expect to be fixed by the later version or the final release of iOS 18. If we go again back into edit, again you can again change that to any color you want. So you can change this slider all around to go to basically every color within the color spectrum that is presented. And if you go again to this dark blue, deep blue color, it also looks fairly weird. Now, you just saw right there, the system actually tried to update the icons to correspond to this color, and it tried to basically put this black background behind certain apps, where other apps it failed. So again, I'm assuming that's just a little bit of a weird bug within this particular beta. And then if you want to have basically black and white icons, more or less, all you have to do is change this bottom slider here all the way to the left, and with that you can now have color within the rest of your system. So for example, I go into the Photos app, the photos still have color and everything like that, but the home screen will always be kind of this black and white type of color. So it's really cool, kind of the different customization colors that you can now add. But again, my preference preferably is the standard just dark mode color to the overall icons. And then we have one last option here that lets you have small icons or large. We are used to, nothing's changed there, but if we hit large, what that does is now it basically makes every icon just a little bit bigger, and it also takes away the labels. So the icon labels are no longer present. And essentially what that does is it kind of cleans up the overall home screen and makes it a little bit nicer. However, I would kind of like an option to take away the home screen labels but keep the icons normal sized without making them bigger. But that's just my preference. So anyway, you do have that option if you want to do that as well. So that's pretty cool. So that's basically the color customization for the home screen. Now the next area that is kind of cool is the ability now to move an icon anywhere you want on the home screen. So say Waze here, I can now change this icon and place it legitimately anywhere I want within the grid of icons. Now that is one thing to note, is that the home screen is still stuck to a particular grid, and that an icon cannot be moved 100% freely anywhere on the home screen. So say I want to move this one just slightly up, I can't do that. It'll automatically snap back to a particular predefined location within that home screen grid. But nonetheless, it is still really great to be able to put an icon anywhere on that grid within the home screen. So that's something that we have been wanting, or I even myself have been wanting for years at this point. And I have been doing it actually for many, many years using a jailbreak. But it is nice to be able to now do it native within the operating system without needing a jailbreak. And then if I go over to this home screen here, you can kind of get a better idea of that kind of customized movement of the icons. So I have 3 here that are just kind of sporadically placed, which is kind of cool. Same thing goes for widgets. You can freely place widgets anywhere on the home screen, as long as it's within that particular grid that it'll snap to. Now, one of the downsides of this free movement that is still aggravating in my opinion is if you happen to move an icon out of the middle of another group of icons. So let's say this Pulse Point app here. If I move it out of this middle group of the icons and move it down, you can see all of the other icons below it shifted on their own automatically. And that is something that I absolutely hate. I would much prefer none of the icons move if I move an icon within a group of icons. Now, if I go and move this Pulse Point app back to where it was, you can see all those icons shifted back to where they originally were. But how I personally would rather this work is if I were to move this Pulse Point app out of where it is currently located, I would rather the surrounding apps stay put and that an empty space be created where this app currently resides. So say I move it down here, I want all these other apps to stay, and I want a space to be basically empty where I moved the app out of. Unfortunately, that is not the case. I'm not sure if that is just a bug, and maybe that might change by the final release of iOS 18. However, in this case, it looks like this is just how it's going to be, this is just how the home screen is going to function. But I really hope that's not the case, because that is the one most aggravating aspect of the iOS home screen that I have hated from day one, and that's the automatic shifting of icons when you move an icon out of the middle. So hopefully that can get changed by the final release. And then moving on to the last area of the home screen, and that has to do with widgets. And so the ability now to change the widget size is now able to be done on the home screen itself without actually having to specify the size of the widget when adding the widget to the home screen. So previously, if I go up here and add a widget, let's say weather, previously you would have to choose the size of widget within this little menu here before adding it to your home screen. So you would slide through and change the type of widget as well as the size of widget that you would like. However, in this version of iOS, you now have the ability to resize widgets at will when editing the home screen. And you can do that by seeing this little grab handle on the bottom rightmost of the widget icon. And all you do is grab that, and it allows you to grab it and pull it and expand it out. And straight away you can see now I've expanded that widget to essentially full size. So you can see all of the data now for weather. And if I want to put it back, I can kind of put it back over like that, and now it's back to a square icon. To the more rectangular icon, I just kind of pull it and pull it to the right, stretches it out, and now I have the more rectangular sized icon that just kind of takes up the topmost of the screen. Super, super cool. So again, even in this size of icon, you can freely move it. I can move it down here. I can move it all the way to the bottom if I want, or move it back to the top. Pretty cool. And then if I stretch it out to the full size, again, you can also move the full size freely. So if I want to move it down here, you can do that. And the icons correspondingly move out of the way. Anyway, so now I'm going to move these icons kind of back to the random sporadic locations that they were before. It's kind of like that. Move this one over here. And there we go. So pretty cool. But anyway, so that is basically the new updated functions regarding the home screen within iOS 18. Hope you guys found this video helpful and pretty interesting. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. It greatly helps out the channel, helps my channel grow, and that's really what I'm trying to do. I really like to, at some point, reach 100,000 subscribers. That's kind of my goal. Hit the thumbs up button as well. That also lets me know that you guys are enjoying the videos, and also kind of helps the YouTube algorithm know to recommend my videos more to more people. So yeah, but anyway, with that being said, hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.